On my grave, I'm not going underneath. Call it luck, I'm just getting what I reap. Should've died, angels kept me on my feet. That's why these demons gotta kill me in my sleep. On my grave, I'm not going underneath. I never go another winter without heat. Gotta face it, just can't turn the other cheek. That's why these demons gotta kill me in my sleep. They know me very well, I ain't live no fairy tale. All the work that I put in, they know I ain't gonna tell. I keep it 100, cause all I know is real. I come from a line of hustlers, they only know the deal. They taught me how to move them quick and to play it slick. And to make sure that I watch out who I'm fucking with. Those motherfuckers got the game fucked up. They telling them motherfuckers to get a time cut. They slaves, they biggest fear is a lawnmower. I dare a motherfucker say my name, watch how I John Doe them. I blindfold them, duct tape to hold them. They bodies eroding, exposed in acid soaking. I'm popping pills and smoking, overdosing on hydrocodone. My story keeps unfolding, a prophecy growing. I'm on vacation, but I'm buried these snitches who scared of a conviction. Leaving the scene, but I'm leaving no witnesses. I just look at it like I'm saving somebody a sentence. My name won't be mentioned, so motherfucker, let's get it. As I time to mission, for my decision will leave your fucking sign stripping. On my grave, I'm not going underneath. Call it luck, I'm just getting what I reap. Should've died, angels kept me on my feet. That's why these demons gotta kill me in my sleep. On my grave, I'm not going underneath. I never go another winter without heat. Gotta face it, just can't turn the other cheek. That's why these demons gotta kill me in my sleep.
Circle well rounded, but still some are square root. Aided by the streets, only objective is to chase loot. Off my own too, that's how I pivot. Street life full time, no intermittent. I ain't scared of a sentence, accusation like clue. That sycamore blue is terror, hoping who's your roots. In front the troops, I lead my army through the field. Ain't gonna send the pawns march through the blood spill. I'm so like a pill, I alter your mind state. What y'all lack is heart, fall apart to the high stakes. Do this my way, my reputation savage. When I was down, bitch, I divided up the fractions and multiplied the addicts just to get the bag up. Seem like I'm always down, this shit don't add up. You big mad, huh? How I feel that I stay loyal. Acting like my brother when you mean more to me in the soil. I'd rather smoke a foil than shake your fucking hand. Regards you little bro, so I'ma turn my back like a man. You ain't trying to see these hands just cause you can't control your bitch. Oh, I take it to the grave, I ain't never snitched.
Hey, it's Miranda Monday.
And Joe Kemp, what?
What?
Oh my God, guys, man.
Good evening, good evening.
Oh, it is Monday.
It is
again.
that day.
Oh my God. Everybody out there, welcome to another Monday Love. I am your host, Joe Kemp, with Miranda Monday on Monday Love. Again, for another magical, tired, busy end of a rough first day back to work Monday.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So, yeah, we're going to switch up gears a little bit.
Switching gears. What do you mean?
So instead
Like
of,
a race car? I don't know if I was
speed.
switch gears like I'm kind of a automatic myself.
I believe you. Thank you. Instead of doing music,
We're doing
masonry
work. That's right. On tonight's show, we're going to be
content.
talking about. I thought I was building bricks. Shit.
Building bricks.
Damn it. I was wanting to lay like a good little grill. And I thought that's what we were talking about. I guess I was way off.
Way.
Creative content. You mean like what we do?
Yeah.
What?
Why not?
Oh my God.
It's called networking. For those who don't
Networking.
know what it is.
Oh my God.
Share,
Networking.
guys.
Is that when you hook your computer up to a hub?
Pretty much.
About the same way.
Share out, guys, because it's going to be a very interesting show and an amazing show.
It's going to be an amazing show.
You do not want to miss this one.
But I thought we were going to talk about masonry work.
No, you must not have got the latest memo. Damn it.
And here, all I wanted.
Make sure.
I just wanted to build a wall. Don't you ever just sit around and you want to build a wall? Damn it. Everybody out there, you know you want to build a wall.
Oh, my God. Make sure you guys jump over to YouTube, subscribe, rate, review, leave us a comment on any one of the over 100.
Oh, God, we're everywhere.
Over 100?
On all of our platforms.
Yeah.
We're everywhere.
Shows. You guys can check them out.
Oh, God, yeah. We're way, yeah. We're actually getting close to about 135 interviews.
That is awesome.
That's crazy. I can't wait to share when we have our 150th.
Dude,
it's dope. I can't even tell you. It's so big. It's going to be a great show. I can't wait. We're going to be sharing soon, but you'll just have to wait.
Yep.
Oh. Sound like a senior citizen farting.
Oh my goodness.
What's that noise? A little powder puff.
Jeez
Louise. What's all that powder? Oh, my ass.
Oops.
So, all jokes aside, man, guys, welcome to another Monday Love. We are here. We got a great show. It is definitely different. Where we get to talk to our boy, Jeff Sobada. It's going to be awesome. He's got his hands in so many different things, from Marvel to a new network system. He reacts. He likes, for some reason, he has a thing for funny midgets with AK-47s. I haven't quite figured that out yet. So, let's just go straight in, because he looks like he's about to search something. So I'm going to mess him up while he's about to search. So if you want to go ahead, unmute, man.
Without further ado,
Jeff Sobada.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I wasn't even muted.
okay,
Oh, well, there you
good.
go. Way to be
You were
quiet.
silent.
That's impressive.
I'm just very quiet.
That is, I beg to differ. I don't think that's the case. And I think by the end of the show, we'll be able to share that with everybody.
Yes, I think, yes, absolutely. So real quick, do you have any shout outs, plugs? Want to mention your shows?
I do. I want to shout out all of the ladies out there. I want them to know that I've decided to become such a good man at this point, and I respect women so much that honestly, I'm becoming. I'm not having sex anymore completely. I'm done. I don't even want to spoil them.
Oh my goodness.
So
I'm too much of a good man.
So is that really different than the norm? Well, I'm just joking.
Yeah, that's my way of explaining to people why I don't get laid. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It's a very professional way to say it. Explain it.
Gotcha.
No, I'd like to shout out, Cybernetic Shark, my host at the MCU's Bleeding Edge and everything and whatnot, and then all of the wonderful, awesome guests that come in and out of the show, and people that collaborate with us, and people like Joe that come on and
absolutely, it's a good time.
And whatnot, and grind it out with us and shit, and have a good time with us and everything and whatnot.
Hell yeah!
And I got much love for all of you, and I want to just shout out all the wonderful women out there that month after month after month allow us to straight up dominate when it boils to how well we do with women and our audiences and whatnot compared to other shows, YouTube channels, podcasts. To be as grimy as I am, say the kind of stuff I say and whatnot and everything, and actually pull down the amazing, crazy numbers we pull with women, I don't know what's going on.
They're crazy. They're way up there too, man.
You never know. When it takes all kinds to make the world go round.
Maybe their boyfriends and their husbands should watch out.
Watch out.
There you go.
Now here we come.
So off kilter.
Way.
Yeah. How? Tell us a quick, brief growing up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miranda. Just give me 1 second.
Oh.
You know how professional it is to adjust your cameras mid-show, right?
We knew this show was coming up for weeks.
I know. Well, it's
That
not
looks
my
good.
fault. I think my dog kicked my tripod over. So play dodge, okay? I didn't.
It's his fault.
Yeah,
Tell
Dodge
him,
did it.
tell him to come in
Yeah.
here.
So you want to ask me about my childhood? So basically, long story short, I mean, there's not much to say really. I grew up in upstate New York, and in like a very, almost, I guess, rural type area. You know, a lot of farms around my house. You know what I mean? A lot of cow pastures. You know, a lot of farming. I spent a lot of my time as a kid in the woods by myself. You know, just exploring, cutting down trees.
I could see you with a lot of wood.
Yeah, yeah. No, but seriously, I mean, where I'm from in upstate New York, there's a lot of caves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of waterfalls, there's streams, there's, you know what I mean? There's wood.
But that had to be cool too.
You switched
know?
camera view, and you're not looking at me.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
You gotta get used to that.
I felt bad adjusting my camera on the fly, so
You're fine.
You're good, dude. No worries, man.
Exactly.
Anyways, so here tell you what, just for you, Miranda.
Oh no, what do you
I'll
have?
switch over. There you go. How's that? So, basically, yeah, like I said, spent a lot of time in the woods by myself, hunting down animals and whatnot, you know, and killing them, and enjoying nature and all that kind of stuff, and always very you know, by myself kind of person. Even as a kid, never really needed to have friends around or whatever. Although I had them, amazingly. And basically, long story short, I mean, you know, I grew up. I got into, you know, sports, and then this probably surprised a lot of people, but believe it or not, in 8th grade, I actually signed away my rights as like a junior high kid or whatever, and I started playing varsity sports immediately. Right.
Nice.
So like as an 8th grader, I was on the varsity football team. I was on the varsity basketball team, all that shit immediately.
Nice.
You know, which is of course how I was exposed to, like, you know, my first, you know, real girlfriend that happened to be a junior when I was 13 in 8th grade, right? And it was a really good move for me. You know what I mean? You know, it got me.
The 8th graders were jealous. Like, for real, dog, that ain't fair.
To be honest with you, I wasn't really aware. I was kind of naive back then. I never really
Back then.
I've always been a really I'm not a selfish person. I never felt special about any of it. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, it's just normal to me. So like I never felt any different with my classmates in 8th grade or whatever, whatnot. I never thought they looked at me any different or anything. But looking back now, they probably weren't too happy with the whole thing. You know what I mean? I don't looking back, you know, all my friends were seniors and juniors, you know,
Right.
so at that point, yeah, I won't lie. I was popular, you know, all that kind of stuff. I was one of those popular kids,
Right.
but I always had a heart, you know, and I always did. I never looked down on anybody, and I never let anybody harass other kids or make fun of them or anything like that, whatnot. If I saw that stuff, I stepped in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I didn't just hang out with the jocks and the popular kids. I hung out with everybody. Everybody. You know?
Like music taste, very eclectic. I'm
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
same way. I've always
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I started off in like 7th, 8th grade. I was one of those punker freak kids. I dyed my hair every other week. I had earrings. You know, I wore long ass chains with my wallet every day. You know,
I could see
Nirvana
that.
t-shirts.
I could so see that.
Yeah, I mean, I used to paint my nails, all that stuff. Yeah.
Now, did you
And,
go as far as the toenails or just the nails? Like,
Yeah, but that's why I've always been a unique person. So I mean, at that point, like, you know, I went into like varsity sports as like a punker kind of freak kind of kid.
right.
But I also played sports, right, which was weird.
yeah.
But so at that point, I never changed. I kind of evolved. You know what I mean? Like how I dressed and stuff. I got out of the freak stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
But all throughout high school, I still went to the parties and whatnot, hung out with the freaker kids and the punker kids and stuff like that. I still chilled with them. You know, like they still wanted to hang out with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, I was smart. I was intelligent. So I was in like student council and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I hung out with the intelligent kids and all that too.
Yeah.
I didn't put anybody down. You know,
no.
So I don't know what everybody else thought about me.
How big was your school?
Huh?
How big was your school?
Oh, geez, it's embarrassing. My school was the entire K through 12 in one building.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But it was big, right?
Right. But
Yeah.
That's crazy, though.
Still, like,
Yeah, multi-story, but
Yeah.
like still everything in one school.
Wow.
small town.
Yes, obviously, as I grew up and like went to college and whatnot, everything, started meeting kids from other places in the country, and they started telling about their high schools and everything, having like 2,000 kids in their graduating classes and whatnot, when there was like 50 in mine.
Right.
I knew something was different, right?
Yeah.
See, that's my school was not like out in the country, but we were inner city, and when I graduated, they were closing the school down, so anybody that wasn't a senior was gone. So like our graduating class was
The last
like
class.
literally about 50, 60 kids, I think, was the top, and a couple of them didn't make it. So.
So, I see Bandmade in the background. How did you get involved with that?
Oh, that's just some shitty band. I don't even know anything about it. I mean, I just liked the poster. I thought the chicks were hot.
There you go.
There you go. No, it's my favorite band. Just because I'm so lazy and everything, and I don't care about my friends, Miranda. That's what I haven't put our reaction videos up yet. You know what I mean? But eventually, people will actually get exposed to Miranda reacting to Band-Aid with me and whatnot and everything. It's going to be very interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. That was your guys's. Okay.
Yeah, I think we've done 2 of 3 videos so far.
We did 2, I think, and we still have to do 1 more.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, at least 1 more. I usually like to do at least 3. But that doesn't mean we can't do 5 or 10. It's
Right.
3.
He
usually the good number.
wants to switch it up. Okay, because he just throws it straight out at you.
Let me get a couple of them up on the YouTube channel first before we start adding more. Right?
There, yeah,
I
exactly.
don't think it's going to do us any good either way if I just start racking them up left and right with you. And
We've got 35 of them.
yeah, there you go.
So how did you find them? Was it just scrolling through?
You know what? I mean, I think the same way most people usually find these kind of obscure Japanese type J-rock, J-metal type bands, right? Some people find them through anime, of course, right? Because
Right.
all the music on most of the popular animes, that is J-rock and J-metal bands, right? So a lot of people find it through there. Believe it or not, in a really weird dichotomy, my own daughter actually tried to get me into J-rock and J-metal at one point when she was into it. When she was into anime as a kid, like 13. And I was like, okay, whatever, fuck that. I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? I was like, whatever,
Yeah.
So I didn't even bother with it. You know what I mean? I didn't know what she was talking about, whatever. Of course, what an asshole I am. She actually was giving me, trying to give me a good tip, it turned out, right? Because if I listened to her, I would have known about Band-Aid a long time ago.
Right.
Instead of 3 months ago. No. A lot of people find it the same way I did, in which you just go on YouTube one day, you're watching some reaction videos one day or whatever, looking around, and before you know it, bam, you end up watching a Band-Aid reaction video. There it is. That's all it took for me. I watched 2 reaction videos of Band-Aid, and that was it. I was in.
That's awesome. And
Yep.
J-Rock, we don't understand what is being said.
J-Rock. You don't know what J-Rock is?
I do. I don't know if everyone else does.
What exactly is J-Rock for our listeners?
Japanese rock.
That's what I thought. See?
Japanese metal.
See, I knew.
I knew you knew.
I thought it was
Yeah.
I thought it was like juvenile rock.
A lot of people don't realize that.
That's people that rock out in DOC.
I'm not even gonna try to pretend here like I'm on some new shit, because I'm not. I had no idea that all this awesome music was coming out of Japan. I had no clue. But I'm telling you right now, straight up, and I don't think a lot of people know this. Some of the best metal and rock and roll that you're gonna find right now is coming out of Japan.
I've heard it. Oh, you hit my shit!
Whoa.
You moved the truck.
Somebody just up to Miranda Monday. Do you want his license plate? I don't think he did it. I don't think it was even close enough to do anything.
Does that say TMJ 391?
931.
TMJ 931.
Just in
Miranda,
case if you're
would
wondering
you-
who just ran into the car.
Miranda, would you like me to actually just quickly tie the Band-Aid thing into my TBI?
Yes, if you would, please.
Sure. So the reason why I have this big ass Band-Aid poster behind me and everything like that, where everybody can see it no matter what when I record and live, is because not because it makes me look good and everything. Although it does.
I mean,
make me-
it does make the frame here look a lot better.
I love
just
it.
saying.
Yes, absolutely. It's awesome.
But the way your head goes, you almost looks like you're part of them.
Well,
like
honestly, I lucked out because
it's Jeff and the
that
Band-Aids.
shot, that poster is hard to find.
Okay.
It is. It's not easy. It took me a minute to find it. And I just love it. I love the colors. It's very old fashioned. The gray, the black and the white colors, you know, it's old school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely gives it that old retro kind of.
Yeah. I dig that. I dig that. I think they look great like that.
Yeah.
You know? It really lends well to them, especially with the maid outfits.
Yes.
Basically, the reason why Band-Aid is so important to me, I did my first reaction videos ever about I guess 3.5 months ago or whatever to Band-Aid, and now I do reaction videos all the time essentially, right? Is not all the time, but sometimes, is because when you experience a traumatic brain injury like I did back in July 2014, TBI, essentially, you lose pieces of yourself, right? Like, you lose interest in things that you used to love. Foods you used to like, you don't like them anymore.
That's
crazy. I used to love beer and drink beer all the time. Now, I don't like the smell of it. It bothers me.
So can you explain? I mean, without being too personal, can you explain?
Oh,
your
what
events?
happened to me? Yeah, of course. So I know that probably be a good thing to put out there first, right, Joe? Not just like, I got a TBI. No. So basically, long story short, it's not that I'm embarrassed by what happened or anything like that or whatever. Or it bothers me or anything. It makes me feel bad. I'm not sad about it. It's just one of those things where basically, I'm not a big bragger. I don't like the idea that people think I'm arrogant at all. I don't like that. And so at that point, I don't like the idea people think I'm a hero or something or whatever. I don't like that. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I just don't like it. At that point, I got my TBI because, unfortunately, on a weekend where I personally don't go to bars that much, it's not my thing. I drink. I don't like to go to bars. I don't go to clubs. I'm a very inward person. I don't go out that much. If I go out, it's to dinner with a woman or something, or the movies to go see a bar.
Right.
I don't go out to drink.
Right.
So for that reason, that weekend, I was celebrating with my best friend and his wife and my date and everything, because I had 2 really big interviews coming up in my career at that point. They were my first opportunities to get into project management in my field.
Okay.
And so we were celebrating that night. We had dinner, and we were closing the night off with nightcaps at a bar, local bar. And unfortunately, we were at the wrong place at the wrong time. My best friend's black. Well, my old best friend, I guess, was black. And so he had a white wife with him, right? And there were some really, really drunk white racists in the bar. They saw us. And, later on through the civil lawsuit and everything that we went through and everything and whatnot, and we saw the video and whatnot, you could see that they were watching us the whole night, very much like, scouting us out, you know what I mean?
Praying on
Yeah. And even even there was even points in the video where you could see that, there was a clear connection between the staff and the security with the racists. Like they were also talking to them about us too. They were all talking about us, right?
Wow.
And so basically, what my point with that is just that we didn't know this, of course, but we were getting set up the whole time, essentially, to where we were going to end up getting jumped, and like he was going to get killed at the end of the night. That's what's going to happen, right? Because he's black and he had a white wife, so they didn't like that. They didn't know him, didn't matter. And at that point, we didn't know what the fuck was going on. We're sitting there at the bar. It was almost closing. I was paying the tab because, I'm such an asshole that I always pay tabs with my friends no matter what. I don't want anybody to pay with me, right? So I paid the tab. I gave the bartender a fat tip. And when she saw our tip, her eyes lit up, and she was like, "Oh shit! Well, you know what, guys? Here's your last 2 beers, and if the security tells you have to leave, whatever, tell them I told them you can stay as long as you want. Finish your drinks, right?" So we're sitting there. We take 1 sip of our beers, and before we can even finish that sip, security walks up to us. Before we even closed it, walks by like 77 different people right to us, and like doesn't even ask us to leave. Like immediately physically escorts us out the bar. And we're like, what the hell's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like no warning, nothing. And I didn't know what was happening at that point. You know what I mean? Like we tried to tell them what the bartender said, they didn't care. And so they pushed us out the door. They physically walked us out the door, like roughly. You know what I mean? Like purposely.
That's insane.
And like essentially they pushed us right out to the races that were waiting outside for us and been waiting for us, for us to come out. And it was all set up. It was all worked out. And so when we came out of the doors, one of the security guards ran back inside, took off. The other one just kind of like leaned up against a column and put his hands across each other and just watched. And the racist started screaming all these crazy racial slurs at my friend Patrick, this crazy stuff. A lot of stuff I'd never even heard before, to tell you the truth. I mean, being from New York, I'm not used to like
right.
talking crazy racial stuff about black people, you know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't happen. Obviously that was a bad situation, right?
Yeah.
There were 7 of them. There's 2 of us. Pat's wife left early that night because something happened with the kids, or something like that. She could go. My date was inside waiting in the line for the bathroom, which, Randy, you know how that is at bars when you're a female, right?
Yes.
That know how the lines are. So it was just 2 of us, and there were 7 of them. There were 6 men and 1 woman. And at that point, they were like either standing around their pickup truck or in the back of it, just yelling at us. And I knew it was a bad spot. I wanted to go. I was not trying to be down to the all.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to be brave and like fight the good fight. I wanted out.
Right.
I'm like, Pat, we're out, bro. We're out. This is not good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're leaving. Of course, unfortunately, my date was a DD, right? So that was we weren't in the good spot to leave at that point, right?
Right.
I still, though, I tried very hard to try to de-escalate the situation. I did. Obviously, Pat was upset. Can you blame him?
Right.
At that point, I tried to yell at him. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. It's not happening. We're leaving. I don't care what happens. We're leaving. It's not good. I was thinking about my kids. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I was thinking about my jobs. These interviews that were coming up. I was thinking about like, honestly, I don't want to brag, but I was thinking about. I wasn't worried about me. I wasn't worried about fighting them. I wasn't afraid. I was worried about the cops showing up and see me beating the fuck out of some guy and arresting me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I've had it happen before.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So at that point, that's what I was worried about. Like, if we do fight them, what if we fuck them up so bad that, like, we hurt them and I get arrested?
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
It's that adrenaline rush.
There you go. So, at that point, Pat was not leaving. You know what I'm saying? I physically pushed him in the back of the car. I yelled at him. The guy pushed him to the car. I pushed him in the back seat. I was like, dude, we're done. We're leaving. Chill.
Yeah.
He wasn't hearing it. He jumped right out the other side of the back seat. He came out the other door. Came around the side of the car. Started barking at the racists. Why are you doing this to me? I don't know you. Why are you talking to me like this? Who talks like this nowadays? It's 2014.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know me. All this stuff. He's pissed. And sadly, he was, unlike me, he was pretty intoxicated. He was. You could see it. He was not exactly, he's a pretty big guy. He's like 6'2", 240, 245. But he didn't look too stable on his feet, if you know what I mean,
Right.
So I wasn't really so sure how effective he was going to be if something went down,
Yeah.
or if he'd even be able to defend himself. And so at that point, I didn't really have much of a choice because at that point, when he came around the car, they finally mobilized and grouped up and started walking directly towards him in his direction. And so I had very little time to think and act. I was to the side. And so basically I just made a beeline towards in between them. And I stopped their forward progress. I confronted them. I stood my ground to them. I faced them all down, 1 on 7. And I had them all down. I had all of them down, all of them. I told them straight up, I was like, apologize to my friend. That's all I said. And there was a pause, long pause. They didn't want nothing to do with me. I'll tell you right now, I can see it in their eyes. When you've been around the block like I have in New York and whatnot, and you grinded and thrown fists with dudes and whatnot like I have, you can see in somebody's eyes what they're about, you know?
Yep.
They didn't want nothing to do with me. It didn't matter if it was 1-on-7. I'm a pretty nasty dude at the end of the day. I'm pretty crazy. And when I get hot, you can see in my face and my eyes that I'm crazy. I'm nuts. I am. So at that point, you know, everything froze, and bam, I got hit with a baseball bat from behind. One of the racists, I didn't even know was there. Unfortunately, I didn't even realize it. I never even saw him. Came out of nowhere from behind, aluminum baseball bat, came across the left side of my head, just like this. Good shot, real good shot. Really got me. Never get a chance to even defend myself. Didn't even see him. Completely fractured the entire left side of my skull. It's still fractured. It'll never heal. And you just can't see it because my hair covers it up. You know, and I wear hats.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and it gave me a traumatic brain injury right there. Essentially, like crushed the entire left side of my brain. You know, partially caved in my skull on the left side. Go ahead, Joe.
And how long did that take to
Oh, well, I mean,
recover
of course,
from?
to wrap it up, I mean, you know, I fell to the ground unconscious. The rest of them jumped me, and they just worked me. They beat the shit out of me. They beat me all to death. Even then, the security didn't do anything. The one guy just watched. I didn't tell him to stop. Didn't get in the way. Didn't do anything. Finally, I was unconscious. I woke up right at the end. And the last couple of blows, I was awake. And finally, Donna, my date, came out from the bathroom. Pat was there. They picked them off me, right? And hey, after that baseball bat deal, they knew something was bad. There was a bad spot. They needed to get out, right? They needed to leave.
Right.
So they dipped, and they ran, jumped in their truck, took off. You know, thank God there were witnesses, of course, by then, right? They come out of the bar.
Right.
And they took her license plate down and all that. And whatnot. I didn't work, and didn't accomplish anything. Then they all walked away legally. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, but
right.
it helped me in the civil trial, at least, right? In the civil court, it did. That information was very helpful.
Yes.
Now, what was your question, Miranda?
How after physically taking all of those blows, how long did it take to mend and heal?
Well, of course, and this is common with TBI type situations like that. Severe situations like that with TBI where people are coma-like and everything and whatnot. You know, the first thing they usually tell the families, you're going to die, right? Like, we don't know, but he's probably going to die. She's going to die, right? They don't know. That's how TBI is. There is no way to cure it. You know what I'm saying, or fix it, or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So in those situations, they usually tell the family that, right? And then when I woke up, he's going to be a vegetable. We're pretty sure he's going to be a vegetable. He's not going to. He's going to need help. He's going to need support for the rest of his life. And so, in the stubborn son of a bitch I am, I decided that I was not going to stay in that hospital. I did not know what was going on. I didn't know who I was really at that point, or what was happening, why I was there, or anything. But I knew this. I didn't like the hospital. I didn't want to be there. I knew that I liked being out of it. So I did everything I could to, even though I couldn't talk very well, I would go on like the dry erase board that was in the room, and I would put on it every morning, I want to leave. I want to leave. I want to go home. You know, I don't want to be here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, help, please let me leave. You know, I knew by then that my neurologist or whatever at that point that was like assigned to my case, I knew what time he came to work in the morning, and then he would go by my room at like 6 a.m. or whatever. So every morning I would wake up when I would get out of the bed, and I would do push-ups and shit and sit-ups and whatever. They hoping that maybe if he walked by and saw me, maybe he'd let me go home. Right? I didn't know what to do.
Right.
It was a very rudimentary shit. I was just, you know, doing whatever I could. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be impressive here or whatever.
Not at all. I mean, that is a terrible event to go through, man.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah, you know.
But you came through it though.
Well, again, too, you have to understand too that the unfortunately the police department down here in Norfolk where I live are known to be a joke and to be corrupt for a long time now.
Yeah.
Of course, they totally bailed on the whole thing. When they showed up at the bar that night and they asked the bouncers what happened, they told the cops essentially that it was just a bar fight. It was sad that I got hit with the baseball bat and everything, but it was just a bar fight like any other bar fight, And so they didn't even do an investigation at all. There was no investigation at all.
See,
Nothing. No. They took what the bouncer said. There was a report based off that. That was it. No joke.
Yeah,
My date called the ambulance for me that night. Not the bar, not the cops. My date called the ambulance for me.
What the fuck?
That's insane.
Yes. So what would have happened if she hadn't done that? I have no idea. I would have died in the parking lot potentially.
Right.
You know what I mean? So either way, I fought to get out of the damn hospital after 13 days. Probably shouldn't have done that. Probably wasn't a good idea. But I did it. They let me go finally. They finally got tired of me and they let me go. Because I was not having it. And unfortunately too, don't ask me why, I'll never know what happened, but 2 of those Northport cops finally decided to come to the hospital when I was like not even who I was. And forced the staff against the law, forced them out of the room and would not let them in the room with me. Right? They wanted it to talk to me. They said they wanted, I guess, question me or whatever in private. It's literally hospital procedure that there has to be a nurse or something in the room.
Right.
At that point, right? They didn't care. They weren't having it. They were like, "Fuck you," When my date at that point, Donna, when she refused to leave the room, they threatened to arrest her if she didn't leave the room. So they really wanted me in there by myself.
Right.
No matter what. And so I don't know what happened. I have no idea. All I know is whatever they told me, they said to me when they left, I ripped every single thing that was in me, every tube, all of it. I ripped it all out. I climbed out of the bed. I tried to put my clothes back on and leave the hospital. Oh, yep. So I got big racted right there and I was in that state for several days afterwards. I was big racted because of it. So I don't know what happened. I'll never know. Right. But at that point, I did not want to be in the hospital anymore. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not want to be there. Whatever they said was not good, I don't think. It's one of those things, right? I'll never know what happened.
Right.
I can't imagine it was nice.
I know.
They weren't worried about investigating anything at that point.
Mm-mm.
They were worried about not looking like an asshole and looking bad in the situation. So bottom line, I got out, and like I told you before, Miranda, I laid in bed for 4 years straight. That's all I did.
Right.
Recovering from what happened. Yep. I only left the bed to go to doctor's appointments because, of course, I had like 17 and a half different doctors at that point, right? I was very popular.
Right.
Yeah, and the only other thing I did was I went to TBI survivor support group meetings, which were very beneficial to me at that time. They were helpful. I didn't feel so alone. But unfortunately, of course, all my friends walked away from me completely. All of them, even Pat, that I saved his life. He saw me 2 or 3 times. He couldn't handle it. How I changed and everything, and he just couldn't take it. So I haven't talked to him or seen him since. And so essentially, I mean, hey, my life was over. Like that was it. I was done.
Man.
That was it.
And then what sparked the content creation?
Well, I mean, I had my first erection in years. That really woke me up.
Like, that was a huge jump here. Like,
Go ahead.
Hold on.
Oh,
So, like,
well-
okay, like, so you were in bed for 4 years. Like,
Yeah.
how much did you lose in that process?
Well, I mean, I was chilling, man. It was fun. I was watching YouTube videos and everything, and, loving it.
Yeah, but I mean, how much did you have to relearn? Did you have any point that you had, like, because you sat there for a minute,
I
you
wasn't
couldn't
learning
talk?
anything. You know what I'm saying? Like in the bed during that bed year, the bedtime, there was no recovery. You know what I'm saying? Like there was nothing. I was just literally recovering.
Yeah.
From the trauma I suffered and everything and whatnot, and the PTSD, it was so bad and whatnot, and everything. I didn't want to be touched.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I had a girlfriend, I would not touch her. If she tried to touch me, I would jump or shake. You know, like, so I mean, yeah, I mean, the idea of intimacy at that point was gone. I was scared.
So, did you have to learn to like, because you said there for a minute you couldn't talk, and you was writing things on the board.
I had to go through speech therapy, you know, cognitive therapy. I can go on and on. There's so many other different therapies I had to go through.
Yeah.
But yeah, I go through speech therapy to relearn how to talk. I could talk, but not well. You know, it didn't make a lot of sense sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would say, my delivery was not very good.
Yeah.
You know, some of my words were sort of slurred and stuff like that, right? Which unfortunately, hey, for a lot of other TBI survivors, they stay like that their whole life.
Yeah.
It never gets better.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I feel very blessed.
Absolutely.
To be where I'm at right now. You know.
For sure.
Because I mean, hey, anytime I'm messing with another TBI survivor that's not as high functioning as me, I feel humbled immediately.
Right.
Because they don't look like me, you know, or sound like me. And that's obvious to me. And that's the other reason why I don't go about talking about this stuff all the time and whatnot and everything.
Absolutely, man.
They deserve more attention than I do. You know?
Yeah, I mean, but still, dude. I mean, that's a major, like, yeah. I mean, like you said, if it wasn't for your girlfriend calling in, you would have been there. Like, so I mean, all the years and the frustration and going through that's amazing. Regardless,
I wasn't frustrated. I did not really know what was going on. I did not know what to think.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know. All I knew was that I had custody of my daughter, Isabella, still, and that was my responsibility in life. That's all I was concerned about. Yep, that was it. The only reason I ended up living with that woman that was my date that night and everything was my Isabella, my daughter. I felt like I was not capable of raising her by myself anymore. So I didn't want to be with that chick at all. You know, but me being an old-fashioned sucker kind of guy, just like when my ex-wife cheated on me in my first marriage and whatnot, right? And I went to her and I was like, you know what? I'm not leaving. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to raise my damn kid.
Right.
You know, and I'm not leaving you. You know, like, I don't care what you did, but like at the end of the day, our daughter deserves to have two parents. Right?
Right.
That's who I am. So maybe that's stupid. I don't know. But like, that's who I am. Now, would I do that now? Hell no. You kidding me? Fuck no. Never do that again. If that never happens again, I'll be like, you know what? Peace. I hope you enjoyed that shit.
Right, but it's a completely different life. You're a different person. The experiences you've gone through.
The point that I was in the bed and everything and whatnot, I did not really know what was going on that much. I guess probably, if anything, I thought, well, you know what? My life's over. You know, pretty much, right? Like, I'm done.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, even my family had gotten me a dog. My dog Dodger, my best friend Dodger, my silent co-host that's right next to me all the time. Whenever I'm recording, he's always there.
Yeah.
I should probably actually put him on camera at some point. But they got him for me, not as a guide dog or whatever. You know what I mean, or whatever. They got him for me to be like a pal, a companion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Emotional support.
Not even. Just someone to be around me, because at that point, it didn't look like anybody was going to want to be my friend again.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the way things looked, I was going to be doing a lot of shit by myself for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, dude, man, way to overcome that. You're blessed to be where you are. That's.
Oh yeah. So I mean, basically, long story short, the woman I was with, unfortunately, manipulated me into the whole living with her to begin with, right? When I woke up from my coma, she manipulated me. She lied to me. I don't know if it was about money, you know, because it was obvious from jump that there was going to be a lawsuit and everything and whatnot. I had to sue the bar, the shopping center, and all that. There was no way that we could allow the security to just get away with what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And plus, my life was over. My career was over. You know, like I became disabled immediately.
Yes.
You know, because of the beating I took and whatnot, and like the bad hit. So at that point, I finally got away from that woman. She basically been partially keeping me in the bed, essentially. She didn't want me to recover, I don't think. And at that point, honestly, to tell you the truth, my daughter kind of helped me out and saved me in a way. Because she came to me and said to me, Dad, I want to move up to Ohio and live with Mom for high school. Right? And you know what? Of course, as her father and having raised her for over 12 years at that point by myself, I was not so happy about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't really know what was happening, going on, or what my life was going to be, but I knew I loved my daughter.
Right.
You know, and all I knew was raising her. You know what I'm saying? So it was not fun. But I always told her, if you ever wanted to live with mom or whatever, reconnect with mom, I'd support it. So I did, and it was a blessing to me because her moving up to Ohio allowed me to leave the woman, Donna, and get away from her and move with my parents, where I'm at now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I didn't want to burden any of my parents at all with any of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did not want them to have to be involved. I did not. I'm very selfless about stuff. I did not want them to deal with my shit. You know?
Yeah.
But I knew that I needed help.
Yeah.
Something had to change.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I did. I reached out to him and I was like, look, I got to get out of here. I need to change. So I went back home and where I'm at right now. And thank God, again, I'm very blessed. I have my own private section of the house and everything and whatnot, you know. It's not one of those like live with your parents deals where, you know, if a chick comes over, they gotta meet my mom type deal, you know what I mean?
Right, but
Honey, are you remembering your condoms?
Yeah.
One note, we don't want no slip ups.
Oh my God, here we go.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing I have my own private section of the house because I don't think my mom and dad can handle the activities that actually occur in this room at times from time to time. You know what I'm saying? They're a little bit beyond their you know, with their deal.
Their scope of of the world.
Yeah. So
50 Shades of Jeff.
there you go. Yes.
Oh my God. So
Hey.
then how did you were watching YouTube videos and you got inspired to get into making videos and
Well, I mean, like I kind of explained to you before, Miranda. You know, I think I'm not sure if I can't remember if I think I basically told Joe a little bit too. It was very simple. At that point, I watched YouTube, right? Like, I never really messed with YouTube, but when I was in the bed all that time, I need something to do,
yeah.
right? Besides watch TV, so I started watching YouTube, right? But even then, I had no desire to make content or ever be a YouTuber. But either way, through a YouTuber that I watched and followed, I can't remember his name right now. He mentioned that he was now making content on a platform called Rizzle. That's like a TikTok type style platform.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 minute video type content.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he was pushing it. He was advertising Rizzle. He was promoting Rizzle through his YouTube channel. So for whatever reason, I knew the YouTuber. I watched his videos. I thought, hell, I'll check out Rizzle. Why not? And when I got on there, I was like, wait a minute. You know what? I can probably do 1 minute videos. Why not? I can make them too. If all these other people can do it on here, they're just like regular people.
Yeah.
Why can't I do it? You know? So I can't remember exactly what my thoughts were. I can't tell you, Miranda, honestly, Joe. There was no eureka moment or anything like that. You know what I mean? There was no like, oh, this is gonna be what I'm gonna do or something like that, you know, or anything like that. It was more along the lines of, I was bored, right? I had nothing to do in life, right, except recover and work on that, which I was at that point fully into. You know,
Right.
was dedicating my time to. You know. All the different types of therapy and everything and whatnot I needed to go through and whatever I had to do, you know. At that point, the goal was for me to learn how to blend back into society.
Okay.
That was the first goal, right? But do whatever I could do to blend back into society so I could act normal and get along with people and all that kind of stuff and all that. And then obviously, as I kept going, the goals would change.
Right.
We grow, they grow. We'd add different stuff. And I just want to point out that I had a therapist, a mental psychological therapist that played a big role in my recovery. He really did. I was very blessed that him and I connected very well. We were like friends and worked together. You know, we liked the same things. We liked each other. We liked working together. You know, we did. We understood each other. You know, he knew that I wasn't there to play around. You know what I mean? Like I was there. I was very goal oriented about it.
Right.
You know, like I wanted to work. I wanted to get better. You know, I was not playing around.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if anything, I was more business-like than he was, at some points.
Yeah.
I would remind him, like, dude, look at the checklist. We got work to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, whatever. So basically, yeah, he was very big for me, very impactful. And you know, hey, I love women, man, and I always felt my whole life I've always had female general doctors my whole life, all that stuff. So my only times of trying therapy were with women, and it never went anywhere. It was a joke. It was their fault, but it's never worked. The one guy one time I decided to try with a guy, he was the one that actually could get through to me, and like work with me, and it worked, right? So hey, that's no big point with that. I'm just saying, it was interesting.
Yes.
It never occurred to me that I could work with a guy like that.
Yeah.
But it worked. And so basically, at that point, I found Rizzle. I started trying out those 1 minute videos, and at that point, what I wanted to talk about was politics, culture, social issues. Don't ask me why. At that point, I was watching a lot of news. I was a Trumper and all that. You know what I mean, and all that. So I was really heavy into that. I'm a conservative. I was actually active then, like in the conservative movement back then. I mean, before I got hurt, I was a big Republican. I was very active. Sarasota Republican Club for years. Heritage Foundation member, all that stuff. So I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get political. I apologize.
Not at all.
You're good. No, you're absolutely good. You're fine.
Okay. But no, so that's what I started with. That's the kind of content I made. And that's it. That's how it started. 1 minute videos on Rizzle. And
that's how you caught the bug.
Huh?
That's how you caught the bug of being in front of the camera.
The more I did it, the more I liked it.
Hey, can you switch cameras real quick? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Through all of your cameras?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's my chair.
No. Can you switch through your cameras like you switched up earlier?
Oh, yeah, I can.
Watch that, Wyatt. Check him out.
Nice shirt.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Very nice shirt.
I actually
How many cameras do you have set up?
You know what? I actually Miranda, we talked about that HubSpot 4K meat cam deal.
Yes.
I returned it.
Really?
I'm done with it. I couldn't get it to work.
Yeah, me either. I had
Yep.
I had an issue with it.
Yeah, I got
Is that that camera you were talking about you were trying to get working?
Yeah, I can never figure it out.
Oh, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's okay. No, and honestly, I'm waiting for Joe to help me out. I'm just joking. I finally figured out how to get my my GoPro to work. I did. So
it's beautiful footage, man.
Yeah. So eventually,
it really is.
When I get the GoPro working, I'll add the GoPro into the mix. Right. I got the tripod for it. I just don't have the GoPro figured out yet.
Right.
So I don't have as many options. I'm sorry, Miranda, as I normally would. Normally I have 5 or 6 going. Yeah. I've only got 4 right now.
I was like, that's insane. He would switch through it, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, you know what? I like it, but then at the same time, sometimes I worry that people are going to think I'm overdoing it.
No, because different content, it could call for a different camera. Like if you hadn't switched cameras, we wouldn't see the background, the MCU's Bleeding Edge. How about you tell me about that?
I like the different angles. I do. I don't know if everybody else likes it, but I like it.
Yes, I think
absolutely.
Absolutely.
It all has its points. It all works better depending.
Yeah, I don't think my face has to be straightforward the entire time that I'm making that I'm living or whatever. You know what I mean? Right. I don't think it matters.
You pulling some Jim Morrison?
Yeah.
I like
the side angle shots here and there. I do. I think it changes things up.
Yes.
Should have options on OnlyFans where you can just switch.
Oh my God.
We're gonna go.
Tell me about not.
We're getting lower angles.
Good problem.
There's it up close. Whoa! You zoomed in too much.
I took a bookshelf out that I used to have back here.
Yeah.
And when I removed the bookshelf, I had hardwood flooring installed in the room in my parents' house here recently, which has been great. I'm loving it compared to the carpet, to be honest with you. But basically, when I removed the bookshelf, it changed my whole setup to where at that point, I actually I got furniture to put in the corner, so I have something there.
Yeah.
I got like a stand or something, like with some storage in it for all my accessories and stuff like that. Just haven't assembled it yet. But basically, at that point, it left some holes in my background. You know what I mean? So I got to get some more posters.
Gotcha. But yeah, no, the MCU's Bleeding Edge, that's great. You can see the band made great. Like, tell me about the MCU's Bleeding Edge.
Well, I mean, I guess to jump from like Rizzle to there would be basically very similar. I can do that very easily. So basically, through Rizzle, this obscure platform that I've never met. I've only met one person in my entire life who's ever even heard of it. When I've asked them, every other person I've ever asked, they're like, "What the hell's a Rizzle?"
Right.
You know, which I don't blame them. But basically, Rizzle led me to some TikTok, right?
Okay.
You know, and then at that point, it had become clear to me that content creation was what I wanted to do. At that point, I knew it. And I did sit down at one point years back, and I did something that I think probably all content creators need to do. I got a piece of paper out, and I decided to go ahead and write down what my long-term goals were with content creation, right? But I was very, very realistic with it. I wasn't expecting any instant success kind of stuff to go down. So my estimates on how long it was going to take things like being a YouTuber and like do a podcast and everything were like way out there.
Right.
You know? But so I did that. I wrote my goals down. I was like, I know I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a podcaster. I want to live stream. You know, I want to make 1 minute video content forever. This is stupid. I'm getting bored.
Right.
You know, like
right.
I want to do something different. Like, you know, as much as I talk, as long-winded as I am, 1 minute content does not work. You know, it just doesn't work. So it may be what's popular nowadays, right? But who cares, right? We're not in it for the celebrity status these days, Miranda, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, we're not trying to be all stars. We might make some money, but you know, either way.
Right.
Hey, look, if you're in content creation and you don't want to get monetized at some point, then you shouldn't even bother.
Right.
I mean, yeah, because outside of just doing it for fun randomly, what's the point? I mean,
there's nothing wrong with having a passion or a goal or wanting to spread a message. But if you're gonna make content, you still want to get monetized.
Yeah.
At some point, you still want to make money of some kind of something. That should be a part of your goal.
Yes.
Right.
For sure.
Or why do it? You have to have more than one thing to get out of it. There has to be more to it than that.
Yeah.
At least I think. But no. So basically, long story short, because I had those goals, the way that those goals formed for me was the MCU's Bleeding Edge. Obviously, I think everybody out there was very aware. Or if you think about it for a minute, it's pretty easy to figure out that the years I did of political content were very toxic and difficult and intense at times. And there was a lot of arguments and people yelling at me and fights and everything and calling me every name in the book and deplatforming me and shit. That was in my everyday life.
Right.
And I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do it. Stopped watching the news completely. I was like, I'm done with politics. I'm done. And so the MCU's Bleeding Edge seemed like a good idea to go, right? I was like, why not? Why not do something different?
Right.
I'd been covering Marvel and DC and all that stuff for a while on Rizzle.
Yes.
This wasn't my main thing. So I was like, well, you know what? I got to do something different, something positive. You know, where I can meet people and not have politics be involved, right? No divisiveness, no fighting, or no arguing anymore.
Right.
Something like where it can bring people together.
Right.
Oh, that I'm sorry about that. That might actually be my crack dealer. And I gave him the wrong number.
Oopsies.
Gave him the wrong number.
Well, man, I will tell you what, dude. We are at the end of our hour, man.
Oh, geez.
Dude. That was.
I'm the worst guest in history.
Not at all, dude. You really told a really great tale, man.
Yes.
Look, I'm not used to doing. Miranda, sweetie. Look, I know this insomnia has been killing me lately and whatnot, and I'm sorry if I've been unprofessional with you at all and whatnot. And
No,
everything.
you've been good.
But I promise you, sweetie. I like you a lot. You're a good friend to me. So are you, Joe. And honestly, sweetie, this is only the second time I've ever talked about my story ever with anybody.
Wow, man. Dude, we
the only
appreciate
other
you
person I've
sharing.
ever done it with is my friend Wilfredo from the Stuck on My Mind podcast. And I did it with him because he was one of the first creators I ever met. You know, I've known him for years. And so I felt like I owed it to him. You know what I mean? He asked me in the beginning. He was like, Jeff, at some point, will you do an interview with me? So I told him I would. I was going to keep my word. Right?
Absolutely.
Besides that, you're the only person. So this is the second time I've ever actually publicly talked about what happened to me.
But thank you, because it's a huge part of your story. So
I mean, and thank you for telling the tale. I mean, it was a very
Absolutely.
good story, and
Well,
that's
it's a compliment to you. I would hope you understand that, right? Like, you know, I'm doing it with you because I want
Right.
you. I want to do it with you.
right. I absolutely respect you for that, and thank you so much. It's very, very humbling myself. To
I'm sorry that I took up so much time. It's just, you know, look,
dude, it really. I mean, it was an amazing story, and that's what we're here for. Is
but you
telling
know what?
stories.
That means that we have to bring him back.
well, I
Yeah,
figured I was going to come back anyway.
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
So, man, Jeff,
Hang out with us
hold
for a
tight,
minute,
'cause
okay?
we're going to shoot a little promo piece for when we go on all the podcast platforms. So again, man, thank you so much for coming on and sharing us your story. That was such a tragic event in your life, and way to come out and be doing something with your life and being blessed that you had the opportunity to rock on.
Well, I want to just point out one thing.
Yeah.
I do not hate those people for what they did to me. I don't. Okay? I don't want anything to happen to them. I would never even wish on them what I go through every day in my life. I would never wish it on them even. Okay? Will I forgive them? No, I would never will. I may be a Christian. I don't know how God feels about it, but I'm sorry, but I can't forgive certain things.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
There's certain lines that you just don't cross as a human
But
being.
at the same time, when I have people actually come to me, friends, and be like, Jeff, if you're not going to do something with those people, I will. You know what I'm saying? I've been like, dude, just chill. Who cares, man? Let them live their lives. You know? As long as they don't bother me.
Karma will get them.
Absolutely.
They'll get theirs in some way.
Yes.
It has its funny way to showing up. It might be a year, 5 years, 10 years. They'll get theirs.
Absolutely.
Look, I may talk some smack here and there and whatnot, and I won't lie. I will tell a dude real quick if he crosses the line with me that I'm gonna jack him up real quick. I will, and I mean it. But at the same time, though, violence begetting violence is not logical.
Right.
Yeah. You're
Right.
right. No,
You
it's
are
very
right.
right. And
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. What country are we in? So yeah, sorry. We have plate glass windows that
people
are
coming up.
downtown, and they come up and they.
Oh, okay.
They were taking-
I
they
thought
were-
you were tripping on acid or something.
no, they were taking pictures of us and we posed for a
Yeah,
second.
I think
So,
they were
man,
doing video.
go ahead and hold tight for us.
Yeah,
Again,
hang
thanks
out,
for coming
please.
on, and we'll
Thank you,
shoot our
you.
little promo piece. Thank you
Thank you,
again,
thank
man.
you.
Thank you for sharing your story, man. Man, that great
That whole
interview.
hour, that went too fast.
It threw me off.
I have
yeah,
to
it was
reschedule.
really good. Definitely. Wow.
That's awesome.
I don't know. There's a guy. Hey, you see him on here?
Can
That's
you
awesome.
see him in the reflection?
I want him on the bleeding edge.
I'll get him a business card. Oh my God! All right, so Joe.
Wow. So on that
Sound like my
note,
people.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I don't even know what that was about.
have
Here
no
are
idea.
$2 was coming out. Yeah.
Wow,
I'm on
that
a
was crazy. Anyway,
lapse
let's
of
get to the
judgment.
thing. Why it's getting me the eyeball.
Poking.
I gotta get to shutting down. So hang tight for us.
Yeah, hang out.
So we'll go through our little thing. Even though that last little thing that was weird,
That
I
was
didn't see that
weird.
coming.
No, I
so,
didn't either.
Guys, all you guys out there for all your podcast needs and commercials and videos and all kind of stuff, get a hold of Wyatt here at Wave One Media. He is killing it. He's got so many options for you in time slots. Get a hold of him at Wave One Media. He will take care of you.
Yes.
All the graphics, all the logos, all the websites, all the different things, shirts, all of the above. Get a hold of me, Joe Kemp, at JK Multimedia Productions, and we can make sure you can tell your story in any way you need.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then Miranda Monday, hunter, bounty hunter, raccoon killer, and lover. She's coming your way. No, seriously. Managing networking. She's talking to bands. She's talking to artists. She's talking to influencers, YouTubers, TikTokers. We're doing all of the above. Get a hold of us here at Monday Love and Miranda Monday at Monday Love and anywhere. Just get a hold of us. Hell, just give us a call and be like, hey, we want to talk to you. And be like, what, dude? And he'll be like, I want to buy your house. That's probably what they'll say. Anyway, so.
I strongly suggest you looking at the MCU's Bleeding Edge.
Oh, my God. That's right. MCU's Bleeding Edge, killing it.
Head over to the YouTube channel. Check that out. Check out Monday Love Podcast while you're swinging by. Give everyone a like, subscribe,
share the content. If you don't like it, somebody will. Be kind and rewind.
There you go. And all of you, keep in mind, you have hated a Monday once or twice in your life. So let Monday love you.
See you guys.
See ya.
Love you.